Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new Elder Scrolls Online Let's Talk video, but it's more of a character description video. So this is me showing you guys one of the ideas that I'm working on for a fighter, and it's called the Alicia's Blade. And what they are is they're an order of warriors that were trained from, you're trained from childhood basically to join this order. So this character, who's based on my real main character, which I can even show. See, real main character. It's based on her and her story of how she joined the Elysian Order, or Alicia's Order, and became an Alicia's Blade. She was originally a descendant of Alicia, a character named Alicia, who started the Order, and they were a high elf. And when her people went into the woods, and they became wood elves, she's just a descendant of that person. And that's how she got in to join the Elysian Order. And she is now a member of the Order. And she just travels the world helping people in need and doing different things, going on adventures. But her whole premise is that's what she wanted to do since childhood. She always wanted to be a member of this order, and since she was so skilled in the art of the Templar, they allowed her to join, and she took on the necessary training to become one of the top blades. And this is a fighter character, so that's the premise and idea behind how I'm going to do my character releases, is do this and then explain, hey, this is a fighter, but it's also a Templar. And then when I show you the information, Wood Elf Templar, Alicia's Blade, fighter, and then you can see I have 64 points in the stamina. This character can be a damage dealer or an off tank. They're made to be both. So you can play them how you want. You can play them as a damage dealer, an off tank. You can even bring support because you're a Templar. The idea behind the character designs is basically to show you how you can utilize skills and tools and things within your character class, and how you can take advantage of it depending on how you play. Now, like I said, this character can bring heals to the group. They can bring debuffs, buffs, different things that's necessary to play in not just a group setting, but in a organized play setting. So let me show you a little bit about this. So you guys can see, like, my spell and physical resist is through the roof because I'm in a heavy armor build. And they're made to work this way. And like I said, this is a fighter character. So when I go in and show you the gear, I'm going to be like, yeah, they wear Silitrix, they're using Night Mother's Gaze, they're using Nightmare, and these different sets give you the ability to play this character really effectively. This one allows you to apply Major Fracture to multiple targets. This one allows you, when you deal melee damage, you have a 20% chance to apply Minor Maim to all enemies within 8 meters of you for 5 seconds, reducing their damage done by 10%. And this is constant. This Minor Maim will be applied all the time. So your character's not just a damage dealer. They're a person that takes advantage of every tool at their readiness to basically make an enemy afraid and fear them. Because when you face one of these in combat, you're going to be like, oh, no, oh man, these things are scary. I've heard stories about Alicia's Blades, and these guys are scary warriors, and that's what it is. They're scary warriors of the Aldemary Dominion. So any race can play this too. I've tested it with High Elf. High Elf is amazing with this. They're more supportive, but they still get about 30k max stamina. The same amount of health, but their Magicka pool is like 20k, so they get more in the Magicka department, and then they get the higher spell damage. So it plays into their advantage. And then if you're playing a Dark Elf, you can even be a Dark Elf and be part of this. It doesn't matter. Like, any race can play it. It's that good. So it's really fun. Some races are going to be better at this. Like Orc would definitely be better at this. Nord would be really good at this. You know, Dark Imperials would be really good at this. But the idea is any race can play it. Now, like I said, this character's main design is to be a damage dealer, but can off-tank in trials. They're not meant to be the main tank, they're meant to be the off-tank. Now, a lot of people will say, well, you can't tank with the two-handed sword. Where can I not tank with the two-handed sword? Because all I have to do is do this. And really, this is all I have to do if I want to tank with this character, is put that there. And then if I want more capabilities to be a tank, I can put this here. I can swap back over here. Actually, I want to go back here, and I want to put this, Restoring Light, Ritual of Retribution here instead of Power of the Light. The reason why is to offer some more group support to my allies. And then on the front bar, I'm going to get rid of this and this. And I'm going to switch these out for Blazing Shield. And then my weapon skill, I'm going to go with the two-handed, and I'm going to grab Rally. And that's all I'm going to do. There, now I'm a tank. Oh, but you only have 22k health. I can go to a shrine and respec my attribute points. I wasn't sure how many I needed. There you go. Now my character can tank, and I can even use tripods, because when I use tripods, I'm going to get over 1,000 something stamina recovery and over 1,000 something magic recovery. And I'm using this, which also gives me stamina, and then anything that dies near me, I can use repentance to get stamina and health back. But I'm using rally to keep my health up while I'm in combat. I have my ranged taunt, I have my carve, my blazing shield. And this guy's got minor maim on him like you would not believe, because it won't go away. As long as he's taking damage, I have a 20% chance to apply minor maim to him, and it will stay applied. Anything within 8 meters of me. And anytime I use this, I apply major fracture to every enemy I hit, as long as I do critical damage. I'm pretty sure with a 37% weapon critical, I can do critical damage. And this is running the Thief Mundus Stone. This isn't running the Lord or Lady or any of that. This is running like this, because when I buff up, I go to 27, 29 resistances. So I can tank like this. See, that's the cool thing about these kind of builds, is when you really look at them and you go, okay, what can I do with a character in this game? And you go, I want to be an Alicia's Blade because they're wicked looking fighters. Now I want to see how this thing would do in a dungeon setting, you know, like in Depths of Malatar. Now, I do have the CP set up already for how I want this character to work with CP. And it's pretty amazing how effective it works with CP. So if you want to be this character and be a damage dealer, you can. You want to be a tank, you can. And you can take dungeons with this. Base game and even veteran DLC dungeons. Because to tank a dungeon doesn't require 50k health. It just requires you to have really good survivability. So I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to run around and do a little bit of damage and tank at the same time. And just to let you know, almost every one of those enemies there has the fracture applied to them. And see, because of the way this character works, you do a lot of heavy attacks to keep your resources full on the stamina side. The magicka side is where you're gonna have a lot of trouble, and that's basically because of the shield and the ritual of retribution, because it uses quite a bit of magicka. So this is why high elves can play this better, because high elves are going to get magicka back with their resource management system that's built into the class. Where are you hiding, Ugly? I know you're in here. I didn't see him over there, so... He's probably hiding in that one area. Back there. There he is. Noob. And the nice thing about this character... Oh yeah, even in the poison, I can stand there and just take a beating, because this character has 2 shields that it uses to mitigate damage. And a lot of people will say, well, that's pretty stupid to do, because you're wasting a lot of resources on this stuff. Not really. I'm gonna let him just puke on me so he can do that. And I can even block. Like, I can block attacks and stuff. And you just basically want to keep these abilities applied as much as you can, plus time. So this way you can keep your shield up and stuff like that. You can keep your heals going. Now this is on normal mode. On veteran I can still tank this. It's a little bit more difficult because of how much damage output this thing has, but it's no different. Like, I can do it the same because my character's max CP and everything. And remember, my taunt is also a synergy. And it would be better to use the stamina taunt with this instead of the magicka taunt, so you're not burning through so much magicka. Because that's the problem with this, is you do burn through a lot of magicka because of that. That taunt and the fact that it's magicka based. So... now it lurks in the darkness. We're gonna go in here and just die, if I can, because I mean it's really hard to outkill my rally. But this is the kind of characters that I want to bring you guys, is stuff like this. So this way you can say, you know what, I want to be the such and such blade, or I want to be this kind of character, this fighter, this ranger. And all the characters, everything, doesn't matter what it is, even the healer types will be able to off-tank if needed, because they're all going to be built like this. They're all going to be built to the maximum capabilities, to to where they can do these different things. So any of the characters I make there will be main tanks, off tanks, main healers, support characters, all that kind of stuff, and you'll be able to play how you like. And that's kind of the purpose of this whole thing that I'm doing with my channel, and why I'm changing to this new setup, so I can bring you guys new ways that you can play the characters. But this is why this works so well on the Wood Elf and on the High Elf, is because it's designed to work with elves mainly. It also works really good on Dark Elves, but it's mainly the Elysia's Blade is made to work with High Elves because of their resource management. See, High Elves, anytime I think that they deal damage or whatever, they get either Magicka or Stamina, whatever is their lowest stat. So in this case, they get Magicka back. So they can maintain their Magicka resources a lot easier when they're not playing, when they're playing support or damage dealer or tank. So, but this is what it would look like. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Let me know, please, because I really, really, really want to hear if this is like something you guys would like. Is this the kind of playstyles that you guys are looking for? Because this would be a fighter character. Then I'd have knights, who are basically... This could also be considered a knight, but a knight would use a sword and shield with like a bow, or a sword and shield and a two-handed. That would be their primary tools of use in all the time. Would be sword and shield and bow, or two-handed and bow, or something to that degree. But they would be designed to be a main tank. Mainly, they could be damage dealers, they could be support, but their main design is going to be tank. And then a paladin is basically a Magicka based, more Magicka based with martial training. So they're going to use more of the magical abilities. So like if I was playing this as a paladin, I would be using the Magicka version of this, I'd be using a lot more Magicka based abilities, and only on the one-handed sword and shield would I be using stamina, and then I'd be using like a bow, or I could use an ice staff, or different things like that. That's the idea behind a paladin. Is a paladin is more like a spell sword from Elder Scrolls, because spell swords in Elder Scrolls, the original Elder Scrolls, were more or less a mixture of heavy armor and tankiness than anything else. So that would be the idea behind them, behind paladins, is they're spell swords basically. So, and there'd be a whole bunch of different kinds. There'd be divine paladins, there would be vengeance paladins, there'd be I have one called the blood paladin, I have one called the shadow paladin, and they play differently. They sound, I know they sound like you're going, okay, blood paladin and shadow paladin, how are these things? They're both nightblades. And the crazy thing is, it's how they play and how they work. Like the Shadow Paladin it uses more assassin type skills, where the Blood Paladin uses more siphoning type skills. So their focus is based on these two things, but they both use some of the same abilities. They just work differently because of their order of Paladin that they are. So those are just some ideas, though, that I'm working on. Like I said, I've been writing down a bunch of stuff in a notebook, and then on a Word document. I've been doing a lot of writing on putting the builds down on paper, so that way I can just copy and paste it into the description and say this is what skills are unlocked. So it'll say like skills unlocked, all class active abilities and passives, and it wouldn't list all of them because that would just be crazy. And everything, but it would show you like these are the primary skills we use on our bar when we're playing damage dealer, kind of thing, that kind of stuff. So it's really more along the lines of like, hey, this is how this character works here, and then if you want to play it as a tank or a damage dealer or whatever, you can do that this way. So I'm just putting it back into damage, sorry guys. Because I was playing around with it earlier on the PTN, with it earlier before I was showing you guys this, and I was parsing, and this thing does like 40k DPS, on a big target, on the big guy. I was just like, holy crap! Like, where was this guy a month ago? You know, why didn't I have this build a month ago? I mean, I did, but I didn't because I wasn't using this setup. I was using I was using the Night Mothers with the Plague Doctors, and I was like, it works, but this is so much cooler. But yeah, this is how this works. You can take your characters, the characters, and I will basically in their descriptions say this is a fighter character. Its primary thing is fighter, and then if you don't know what a fighter is, you can go to the fighter section. There will also be a video in there with the description, and I'm going to use this as actually the description for the fighter. So when I do the video for the fighter, I'll be like, this is what a fighter is. They're masters of martial combat, and in some cases they also use magic, depending on the type of thing they are, you know. And the other nice thing is about this is I can also go like this if I want, so I can get more magicka. So I can put a little bit into magicka if I want to. And it's cool because I was tinkering around, like I said, just tinkering around with different ideas of doing things, and I just kept coming up with all these new ways that I could set this character up and still play them. So, but yeah, that's what a fighter character is. It's somebody who masters an ability of combat, and then utilizes it to their advantage. But they can tank and off tank. Even the rogue types that I'm working on can off tank if necessary. So I even have this one, and somebody gave me the idea of like an evasion type tank. But it was more or less, okay, this is a rogue, this rogue character, and when they play tank with this, when they play off tank with this, they're sacrificing their damage to be more tanky, but they're also very acrobatic in their playstyle. So they can do a lot of more dodge rolling than my character can in heavy armor, because they've got higher dodge roll reduction. And I was testing it out, and I was just like, this is sick. This thing is just disgusting. Like, if I can do this with one character, what can I do with all the different characters I make? So any of the character types I make will be able to off tank if necessary, and then some will be able to main tank. Like battle mages, a lot of battle mages will be able to main tank even, because they can equip an ice staff. And a battle mage is pretty much just a heavy armor mage. They're made to take a beating, and they can off tank or they can main tank, depending on the type of playstyle you go with. If you go for off tank, you're going to use destruction, like more like fire staffs, lightning staff combination. If you're going for more main tank, you're going to use like an ice staff, resto staff combo. So this way you can use some of the resto staff abilities to aid your group. And you're going to use some of the destruction staff abilities to do damage. The resto staff is going to be defending, the ice staff is going to be infused, and you get the idea. So then I have like the warlock characters, which I have one already done called the Night Witch, but I'm going to change it to the Night Witch Warlock. Basically, witches and warlocks are one and the same. They're basically like support characters that do damage. So they use a lot of debuffs, things like Crusher enchants, they use weakening enchants, stuff like that on their weapons. But they don't use things to boost their damage. They do things to bring the damage down on the end, so the enemy can take more damage. And they're designed to work that way because that's how I wanted them to work. I wanted them to be like a negative debuffer for the group. So they also do things like Reaper's Mark, so they can put Major Breach and Major Fracture on the enemy. And then they use things like Crusher enchants so that they can keep that higher penetration value up. So this way the tank can focus on being a tank and focus on controlling the mobs and stuff like that. And they're not trying to debuff, do all the stuff that your group members can do. So yeah, it'll be really cool. I think a lot of people will really like this concept once I get it going. But like I said, I'll have them listed. Instead of having them listed as, I might even leave the whole idea with Templar, Necromancer, all that, but just put like this is the Alicia's Blade fighter, and then put it in there, like on the when I do the video, you know how I put in the description, or in the label of the video, I say, this is the Alicia's Blade. It'll say Alicia's Blade, brackets, Templar, fighter character. That way you can go, okay, this is a fighter, and I know what they're made for. And then in the descriptions of the videos, yes, I actually have a lot of this open. But like when you go into the, not the video description, but the playlist description, like if I click on Templar, it's going to say this section is for the Templar character builds. And then inside here, it's going to have a listing, fighter characters. This is what they are. This is what a magic user is. This is what a cleric is, and all that kind of stuff. So you can go through and be like, okay, so these are what the cleric, this would be a cleric. This is what a cleric does. Okay, this is the Templar, one of the Templar clerics. I like this. I like this war cleric. I want to be it. So that's pretty much the idea, is to bring you guys different kind of character types that you can play. And clerics are basically battle priests. So you have like this, you have like the battle mage, and you have like the battle priest. So it's the same concept. Except one's, like the battle priests are heavy armor support people that are off healers. They're not main healers, they're off healers. Then you have your main healers who are priests. So you kind of get this mix of play. And most of the clerics are hybrids. They use both magicka and stamina in their playstyles, so they can take advantage of the tools that they have available. So some have more magicka than stamina, some have like a mix of both. It really depends on how you choose to set it up. But I'm going to show you how you can do all this stuff also in guide videos and in help videos. And then when it comes to people asking me, like, can you one-bar play this? You can one-bar play this thing like a beast. I want to show you guys this. So this is just one-barring it with a melee weapon, okay? There you go. That's one bar playing this, and that's not even using. That was using the weapon power pots, and I was pulling 19k. If you can get the rotation down, you can get to about 22k with this, and that's just using biting jabs, wrecking blow, light attack, and brawler. That's it. Now, if I was playing this character to be a true DPS, this is where things get really crazy. Now that's 24k. I can get up to about 28k with this. Normally when I pull a really good rotation. So you're 8k off. Well, roughly about 6k off from what I can do with 2 bars. You're 6k off with 1 bar. So this thing you could still play even in a dungeon as a damage dealer on 1 bar. You want to play it more solo friendly, all you have to do is put a shield here. Move biting jabs over, leave wrecking blow, put your class shield, put a self heal like rally, and then put your resistance buff. Done. You're solo for 1 bar, and it's that easy. It's not complicated. It's not impossible to do. And every character build I'm working on is going to work like this. So you have these different tools that you can use to play how you want. Whether you're a solo player and you're a 1 bar player, or you're a solo player, or you're a person who wants to play in groups and tank and heal and do damage. Every one of these builds will be this way. Now I will be releasing what I call the fighter, and there will be like these will be the first videos in the playlist of things. Like, so I'll be doing like a fighter video, And I might do, like, if I leave everything the way it is, where it's necromancer, you know, all that kind of stuff, and I just put these in there, I might do something called the fighter and release it, and it'll be like, this is like a starting fighter character. They're going to use like dual wield with a bow, and they're going to have, you know, like dual swords, and they're going to use a bow on the back bar, and they're going to be in medium armor, but they're going to use specific sets that drop in the overland, and maybe a crafted set, and then they're going to use like the agility weapons to give them that higher stamina that they need, but then they can still tank with it. And this would be like a starting version, and then I would do other versions that are like this, like the Alicia's Blade, and so on and so forth. But yeah, this is the whole premise, guys. So I just wanted to kind of give you a quick rundown of how a character would look like, so you guys can go, oh, okay, now I get what he's doing. So, but tell me what you guys think. Let me know in comments, because I'm still working out some ideas over the weekend. And like I said, I don't know if I want to do the whole, like, these are fighters, these are magic users, these are this, instead of just saying, hey, this is a magic user, and if you look in the playlist description, it says, oh, this is what a magic user is. Let me know what you guys think of the different ideas. Give feedback, please, because I'm doing this not just for myself, I'm doing this for you guys just as much as myself. So, but let me know. And that's it with this video, so you guys know what's coming next. If you guys like this video, hit that like button. If you guys want to see more videos by me, please subscribe. Other than that, thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a wonderful day, and this guy might see you in game. Bye.